So to go on with my last video about my first boyfriend that I had, um, once I had told my family and everything what had happened, we did go the court route, and it took me a long time to understand why, when we were in court, when my mom saw him come into the courtroom in his orange jumpsuit with the handcuffs on his wrists and his ankles and his waist and the chain connecting all of it together, she got teary-eyed, and I was like, what the heck, Mom? This guy victimized me and hurt me and was a monster to me, and you're sad that he's in an orange jumpsuit? And later, I get it. As a mom now, I totally understand. She just imagined, what if her son, my big brother, had done something that put him into a jumpsuit? She could see it from both sides. She was thinking the poor family of him. And I get it now, but at the time I was like, why are you worrying about how his family feels? How do you think I feel? I'm sitting here watching the guy who hurt me, and I have to relive everything as he stares at me while they sit him down. And you're worried about how his parents feel instead of how I'm feeling? So that's one thing that kind of still sticks out to me, but I don't blame her anymore. I kind of understand it now. Another thing that kind of got to me was they decided to tell him that I called it rape and whatever you want to go from there as. While he was in school, they pulled him out of a classroom, and I assume they arrested him from the classroom. I don't know exactly how that works when you're a teenager, if they just talk to him and let him know. I think they just talked to him and let him know. I don't remember. I just know that at one point I wanted all my stuff back, and I had left some stuff at my house, and he had left his stuff at his stuff at my house, my stuff at his house. So when we decided to set up a time to switch things over, he came by the house, texted that he was there, so I knew not to go to the door. And my brother, who's 18 months older than me, went to the door to exchange our stuff. My brother has always picked on me. I mean, we're like worst enemies, but this was the first time I understood what it meant by, when it comes to siblings, I can pick on my sibling, but no one else can. Because it was a very quick open the door, shut the door, and he came back with his fingernails in his palm of his hand, and his hand still clenched pretty much, and he was just like, that took all I had not to punch him, and his jaw was clenched, and I was like, but you hate me, why would you care? And it really made me tear up to see that my brother cared. Now, as an adult, my brother and I get along great. We both have kids. We both have grown and matured and moved on from those times. But it really touched me to see that my brother really would go to bat for me. Another part that really got to me was, my dad is obsessed with motorcycling, so he took me to a Supercross. I'm pretty sure Supercross, not motocross. No, Supercross. A Supercross event, I believe in, was it Salt Lake? Or was this one the Vegas one? I think this was the Salt Lake one, because we lived in Utah at the time. And let me block this. It's a safe neighborhood, but still. That is so loud. And the whole time we were at the Supercross, I kept getting texts from Chris saying, I miss you, I love you, I'm going to commit suicide if you don't take me back. You know, playing the victim card, being a true narcissist. And so I was upset because I thought I loved him. I knew what he did was wrong, but I thought I loved him. So I kind of struggled with that. And my dad just said, stop looking at your texts. Don't feed into it. Don't go there. So that was a fun chapter to go through. So I did ignore it the rest of the time. And, you know, now that I've lived a longer life, I know that that was just games. And I've seen other guys try to play that game with some of my friends. And I've always told them, their choices are not on you. You cannot blame yourself for what they choose to do or say. Don't give into it and feed into it. And, oh, it's bright out here. So another thing that got to me was that my journal, it helped, but it also hurt me because, sorry, I'm just gonna put you in here because I'm gonna drive and I can't hold it. Sometimes he would kind of look at my journal, so I tried to alter, or I don't know what word I want to use, filter my journal. So, you know, I mean, I even said straight up that sometimes it wasn't all bad. It didn't always hurt. It would hurt at the beginning, but then there were times that it did feel good. Now, as an adult, I understand that your body can automatically have those good feelings, even if your mind is not okay with what's happening. And as an adult, I would be able to fight better in court. But as a 15-year-old, well, I think I was 16 by the time I finally went to court, but still, it wasn't that easy or that simple. The district attorney, I guess would be like my lawyer, because it was the city or state or whatever that was actually prosecuting him. They said that he was denying it, and if we needed it to go to full-on court where it was in front of a jury and everything, it's kind of a he said, she said, and his lawyer would be picking on every little thing that I wrote in my journal, everything that I say. If I said one thing in the wrong way or anything, they could hold it against me and get the whole thing dismissed. The fact that I sometimes wrote and it felt good or whatever meant, oh, well, if you liked it and it felt good, then it wasn't rape. Well, now as I'm older, I understand that no, that's not the case. You can be in the middle of having the best whatever, you know, experience in your life, and then if something hits where it hurts you or where it triggers a memory or something, and you go, no, stop, don't, ow, it hurts, whatever, anything like that, no, stop, don't, any of those kind of words. If the guy does not stop, even if it's just to check, are you okay? Do you want me to stop? You know, even if it was just a ow, he should be saying, are you okay? Whatever. And if he doesn't, and you did say, no, don't stop, any of those things, that's rape. Whether you instigated the sex or not, at any point, you can say no. And if it continues after you have said no, then it was not consensual. And as a 15, 16-year-old, I didn't feel strong enough to stand up for myself and voice that. I was nervous, I was scared, I didn't want the whole world to know, and I knew that if it was a court with a jury, that everyone would know me, and it was a small enough town, it was a big town, but a small enough town that enough people would know, oh, that's Dan Miller's daughter. he's the guy that runs blah, 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 blah at the hospital and blah, blah, blah with the sheriff's department. Oh, that's Laniel Miller's daughter. She's the NICU nurse that saves all the babies that probably won't have a chance once they're born too premature and whatnot. So, I had all of this, like, everyone's gonna know me, everyone's gonna see me as a victim, everyone's gonna judge me for not being true and pure for my husband anymore. Everyone's going to treat me different. And I couldn't get out of my head. So I was like, well, I don't know. Well, yeah, I agree with this, but, so they said, well, we've gotten it down to a deal. So I want to say rape 1 is the higher one and rape 2 is the less, I don't remember exactly what it was labeled, but I know it was considered date rape instead of the, like, hardcore, like, abuse, beating up some stranger and totally victimized. I don't know. That's kind of how I saw it. I was like, oh, so because we were dating, it's not as serious if he rapes me than if I was walking down the street and a stranger grabbed me. And I know that's not exactly what it means, but at the time, that's kind of how I took it. But I was like, fine, if that means I don't have to testify, then fine. Date rape, rape 2, whatever. I won't have to be in front of a jury, so fine, whatever. I don't necessarily regret that choice because it was giving him a chance to recover from that, giving him a chance to still have a life as an adult. But it turned out that his family blamed me. And like I had said earlier, I was in the marching band. Well, I stayed in the marching band because it was like a family of friends that were gonna, look out for me, stand up for me, support me. Well, 2 years later, his little sister was in the marching band and she played the flute. And one of my best friends played the flute. And she took her under her wing and she was like mother hen to her and so supportive of her and, just looking out for her. And his little sister just blamed me. She's like, how dare you? You ruined my brother's life. You ruined our lives. You are a terrible person. To the point that I went back to being suicidal again. And I think that's when I first tried to overdose. I don't know for sure, but it was hard for me. So I ended up quitting the marching band. And everyone thought it was because of the new boyfriend I was dating, but it wasn't. It was because I couldn't be around her and how she was judging me and how she blamed me because now her big brother, at that point, 2 years later, had tattoos, had piercings, had a drug habit, had been convicted of raping another woman or girl, whatever. And so I was like, whoa, okay, what's wrong with tattoos for one? I mean, I've got tattoos all over me and piercings. But then I was like, the fact that he did it to another woman kind of proves that I'm not the bad guy here. He did it again. And I didn't give him the drugs or alcohol. He chose to start drinking and doing drugs and stuff. Like, why are you blaming me? So that was hard to overcome. I think that was the main thing that was on my mind today about it, was kind of the different ups and downs of once I spoke out to what happened, how things kind of went from there.